1, 2, 3, and to the 4. I'm back with another edition of The Luke Kelly Show. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre are not at the door today. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's just me. Hi. Hola. What's another way to say a hi in a different language? I don't know. Sorry, I failed. I better learn other languages so that way I can say hi to you. In other ways besides English. Maybe that's what I need to do in order to grow this podcast. Start speaking other languages. Do it in more than just English. I would spend a lot of time with Babbel or Rosetta Stone. That's all I hear for commercials on the radio is for Babbel. It's like, Babbel, come over here. We can teach you a new language. No, Babbel, I don't want to learn a new language. Actually, I do want to learn a new language. I do want to learn how to speak Spanish. I think that would become very useful for me. My grandpa, he speaks Spanish. I wish I could have a full-on conversation with him in Spanish. I think he would really appreciate that. Maybe I should look in to see how much Babbel is and start it. And then I could teach you a little bit about speaking Spanish as well. I would be late to the party, 31 years late, but it doesn't matter. You could teach an old dog new tricks sometimes, just depending on how willing they are to learn that new trick. Are they going to be dedicated? I don't know. I don't know if I would be fully dedicated to it. That would be my new hobby, though. If I did it, I would fully commit to it. But anyway. Let's get into the real nuts and bolts of the Luke Kelly Wednesday edition. May the 4th be with you and with your spirit. I didn't want to do a Star Wars joke, but when I hear May the 4th, may peace be with you. If you're Catholic, if you grew up in a Catholic church, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I remember I went to church one time, and it was at that point where they go, and peace be with you. I hadn't been to church in a very long time. And I heard people say, and with your spirit. I'm like, what the hell? Yes, I thought hell in church. I was like, what the hell is going on? When you used to say, may peace be with you, you used to say with all and also with you. And when that switched up, I was lost. I was baffled. I was like, I can never come back to church. Because if I come back the next time, what else are they going to change? So now I just kind of watch. If I go into a new church setting, I just watch. See what other people are doing, so that way I just blend in. I don't stick out like someone that doesn't belong in that space. Man, I'm all jacked up on coffee right now. I'm knocking things all over the place. I don't know if you just heard my notebook go all over the place. Good thing I have it away from my coffee right now. So if it seems like I'm talking faster, I am now on, I already had 2 cups of coffee this morning, and now I'm drinking a medium. I always forget. What's medium size at Starbucks? Grande Americano. That's what I'm drinking right now. It was Double Stars Day. That's why we had to get it. This is Nora's logic. When it comes to anything, when there's any sort of special that's going on, she has to take advantage of it. It's Double Stars Day. We have coffee at home? Nope. We're not drinking that coffee at home, although I did because I wasn't planning on going to Starbucks, but Nora had other plans for me, and she asked before I left to go to Kroger, she said, hey, do you want Starbucks? I was like, no, I'm good. She's like, but it's Double Stars Day. Oh, so we are getting Starbucks. It's like, get me a medium Americano. So I'm going to start really bouncing off the walls as soon as I finish up this Americano. You're going to hear me drink it every once in a while on this episode because it's still hot. Got to take advantage of it. So good. Once it hits the lips, just tastes so good. So you heard me say I went to Kroger. Kroger during the day is different than going after work, going on the weekends. It's a different animal because of the clientele that's usually in there, usually an older crowd in the store because most people are out working. Just think about that. You don't go to the grocery store during the middle of the day. No, you're working. And it's always a sight to see. Because older people are getting in your way, they're walking slower. You just observe weird things. I think I observed the most strange thing when I was inside of Kroger. I saw this guy walking through the store, had a bag of Sun Chips open in the cart. You pull the seat back where the kid would sit. He put his bag of Sun Chips in there and was eating them. I'm like, okay, that's not the most strange thing I've ever seen in the grocery store before. I've seen people eat grapes, drink sodas, those sorts of things inside of a store before. But this guy, he was going to town. He was finishing up his grocery shopping. I think he was getting all the essentials that he needed for the Kentucky Derby this weekend. I live in Louisville, so the Kentucky Derby is a really big deal. Now, a lot of locals don't actually go to Derby Day. They go to Churchill Downs on Thursday for Thurby. That's like the local day at Churchill Downs. But local people have Derby parties. This guy had a lot of party food inside of his cart. So I saw him periodically as I was shopping throughout the store. He would be walking up and down some of the same aisles that I was in. And all of a sudden, I get ready to go check out, and I'm walking back up the chip aisle. And I notice a bag of Sun Chips. It was open, back in place with all the other Sun Chips, and it was completely empty. This dude polished off a whole bag of Sun Chips in the store and put them back, didn't even pay for it. I'm pretty sure that's stealing. Don't you think that's stealing? Because you got to pay for it, right? If you see someone that polishes off a Diet Coke or maybe a bottle of water in the store, they drink it, but they scan it when they're going through the checkout line. This guy was like, no, hell no. I ain't paying for this bag. I bet you he got a new bag of Sun Chips so that way he could have that at the party. Because those Sun Chips didn't make it through the store. I was baffled. I was like, what the hell? I've never seen somebody do that. If that's what we're doing right now, grocery prices are through the roof. I'm going to bring burners to the store, and I'm going to make food right there in the store. Use it, put the packaging back on the shelves, and just never pay for groceries. That's what I'm going to do. That will be a little bit more noticeable, and some Kroger employee or Aldi employee would come up to me and be like, hey, sir, excuse me here. You can't be cooking and then putting everything back on the shelves and not paying for it. I'd be like, yes, I know. But I saw someone eat a full bag of chips and then put it back on the shelf. So I'm just testing a new theory that as long as you eat the food inside of the store, you don't have to pay for it. That's what we should really be trying. Or maybe the grocery store prices are still so high because we have so many people that are stealing from the grocery store. Maybe that's what it is. Times are tough right now. You can't afford all the groceries that you usually get. So you know what you got to do? You just got to steal them. Shove them down your pants. When I'm on TikTok, dude, I will see videos of people stealing meat, shoving the meat down their pants, and then they get caught. Listen, I always have meat at the store too down my pants, but I'm not taking it off the shelf. That meat in my pants is always there, okay? Some people, listen, I know times are tough, but can't be stealing from the grocery store, eating bags of chips, Sun Chips in the store. You know, I do like a good Sun Chip every once in a while, but I can't tell you the last time that I had one. I think it was at a work, like, little cookout that we had, and they had the little mini bags, the assortment flavors of all the Lay's brands, and there were some Sun Chips in there, and I think that's what I ate. But other than that, it's been a while since I ate some Sun Chips. Some Sun Chips, not some. Sun Chips. Because right now, I'm still on a huge Dorito kick. So good. Nacho cheese Doritos, fantastic. And if you really want to spice it up, the nacho cheese, flamin' hot Doritos. Woo-wee! Clean living right there. Clean living. The only problem with flamin' hot products, whether it be Doritos, Cheetos, they make them in pretty much every single flavor now. Your stomach's going to hurt the next day. Your bowel movements are going to be red. Maybe TMI, but I'm just warning you. If you polish off a whole bag in one sitting, the next day on the toilet, it's going to look like you just got murdered in the inside. It's not good. I do that to myself every once in a while. Even though I know it's going to be hell the next day, I'm like, I'm willing to sacrifice one day of being on the toilet all day and having red bowel movements just so I could eat these chips. Just said, I'm an idiot. I do it to myself. I know what I'm getting into, but I just have to do it. Can't believe I just talked about things at the grocery store, eating at the grocery store. For how long? Let's see how long I've been talking about that. For 11 minutes. That was pretty damn good. That was impressive to be able to talk about that subject for a total of 10 minutes. I've done some different things this week. Gone to the grocery store during the middle of the day, and listen to this. I don't know if you are like me when it comes to this, but do you go out? Yes, go out in the middle of the week. As Nora and I call it, going out on a school night. Because before, I would never go out. Monday through Friday, honestly, Monday through Sunday, I'm probably not going out at night, to be honest with you. I enjoy being at home way too much. But it was Monday. I got off of work at 3:30. I wasn't feeling the best on Monday, and I came home, I did a few things, and then I took a little power nap, like a 20-minute power nap. And I was feeling a lot better. I was like, man, this 20-minute power nap did the trick. I'm good to go right now. And I get on Facebook, and I see my cousin, Will. He's a comedian. He was going to be performing in Louisville on Monday night. I'm like, he's always here, and I never go. I have got to go. I got off of work at 3:30. Nora and I ate dinner at 6. So, we had plenty of time to go. And I was like, man, there's a lot of people on this card, though. This is going to be late. We might not get out of there until 11 o'clock. That's what I kept thinking because, like I said, there's a lot of performers. I think there was 11 people that went up, but they moved really fast. Everyone went up there. They did their however many minutes they got, maybe 3 minutes or so, maybe just a tad longer, 4 minutes. But my cousin was I wouldn't say, he was a special guest. That's what they labeled him as. So he was kind of like the headliner, and he got a little bit more time at the end of the night. And I was super excited that I got to see that. I got to see him do almost a full set. He was working on some new jokes. He has some comedy festivals going on. So he always wants to do as many open mics as possible so that way he can work out on a lot of new material. And I walked in. I didn't tell my cousin I was going. Went to Planet of the Tapes. They have a little nice place that they do comedy. And I walk in. My cousin is sitting to the right. I almost did not recognize him. And he was like, hey, what's going on? You made it. I would not have recognized him. If he didn't know who I was, I would have waited all night long for them to say, hey, now coming up, Will Kincannon. Because I would have been lost. I would have been like, where the hell is my cousin? He grew a mustache. So that's why I didn't know him. He had a hat on with his glasses kind of pulled down. So I wasn't really aware. But it was great to see him. It was great to see him do something that he's been working so hard at. He's been at it for a few years now. And I remember, I think he started just before the pandemic started. And when he was really getting into it, he was doing a comedy special that got put on virtually. So you could pay like $5 to watch a whole bunch of local comedians. And I watched him on there. And I'm like, he's doing a really good job. I like this. And when I saw him perform on Monday night, I'm like, he is getting so good at telling stories. That's what I like about comedians. If you ever watch a professional comedian go and do their sets, you're like, man, they are a great storyteller. They have you on the edge of your seat every single time because they know how to hook you into a story. They know how to deliver that punchline without making it feel like a punchline. And I could see my cousin starting to mature into those things because Nora and I have started to watch so much stand-up comedy. It's not that I'm saying I could be the world's best stand-up comedian. I would be terrible at it just because I hate being up on stage in front of people. And I'm just saying, I can watch something, I can study it, and I can learn it. I'm not saying I can execute it, but I can learn it really well. And from what I've seen other comedians do, I'm like, man, my cousin is really figuring it out. He is funny. He's a great storyteller. And I always thought that he was a good storyteller. We didn't see each other much as kids, but whenever he would tell stories, when we did get to see each other, I'm like, this dude's funny. He has it. And I hope he keeps working at it, and I hope he becomes really good at it. Now, you could see at the end of the night when he was the last one that won up, you could see the difference between him and some of the people that were just starting out. I don't mean to rag on any of those people. I'm not trying to whatsoever, but you could tell when someone is new to something. You could pick up, you could get those feelings of someone being new at something. I'm not saying they did a bad job. I think I would do a lot worse than these people that are just starting out. Like I said, it takes a lot of guts to do it. One, I don't think I'm funny enough to be a stand-up comedian. But if there ever has to be a career where I have to be up on stage performing like that, I don't think I could do it. People always used to say, but you're on the radio. When I used to work on radio, how do you do it? You perform in front of people every single day. I said, listen, it's a lot different. I'm sitting in a room talking to myself. There is no one in front of me making me feel that pressure that I need to be on. When you're in a room, it's totally different. I could just feel like I'm having a conversation with you right now, and I don't feel like that pressure. I can have one-on-one conversations with people all the time. You put me on a stage in front of 50, 100. No, I cannot do that. I get so nervous. Whenever I worked in radio and they would come up to me and be like, hey, we need you to do stage announcements. I'm like, not good at that. I would fold under pressure. I remember the first time I did something like that. I was working in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was one of my first weeks that I was working at the radio station for Riverfest. It used to be a big event that would go on in Little Rock, usually around Memorial Day weekend. Last weekend of May, or I think it might have been the first weekend of June or something like that. And my station was having a night there, so we had to go up on stage and do some concert announcements and stuff. There was a sea of people. When I was up on stage and it was time for me to talk, I looked out in the distance and I looked up, so that way I wasn't making eye contact with the crowd at all. I couldn't do that. It has to be so tough for a comedian to be able to work a room and make sure that they're still doing their best material and getting people to laugh. That seems like it would be incredibly hard. So for anyone that's trying it out, I'm not going to say someone sucks. I would never do that because you got to start somewhere. You got to figure it out. Takes a lot of cojones. I don't have enough to do it, so I can't talk shit. But I enjoy it. That's one thing that I think I've really loved to learn more is comedy and the art of it. You know, I told you on a few episodes ago about how Nora and I have really gotten into comedy, watching it on Netflix. We're going to see Bert Kreischer and a whole bunch of people here at the KFC Yum Center sometime in June. And to go to a local comedy show and see it all the time, it's something that I'm really, really starting to enjoy. When I lived in Little Rock, I used to go see my co-host, I shouldn't say I used to go see her on a regular basis, but I would go and watch her every so often when she'd have a big event or something like that. I would go and watch. And it's just fun. It is a really good atmosphere, and it's fun to see the material that people come up with. Sometimes now they try and do too much like political comedy, and I hate political comedy. Don't come at me with that stuff. I want to laugh about real life stories. I want to laugh about just dumb stuff. I don't want to laugh about, you telling a joke about Trump supporters or Joe Biden. I don't want to hear any political stuff when I go to a comedy show. That's just me. Now, if you can make it political without making it political, you did a really good job. Yes, it is possible to do that. It's just very hard. You have to be really good to do that. But it was nice to see my cousin. I posted a picture up on my social media of me seeing him. He had this joke that one of our, I don't know if it was his cousin or our cousin, but he said that his cousin introduced him as a stand-up comedian. He said he's actually pretty funny. So the post that I said, I went to go see my cousin tonight, or finally got to go see my cousin perform tonight. He was actually pretty funny. I thought that was clever. I worked one of his jokes into the social media post. You can see that at Radio Luke Kelly on Instagram and Facebook. Speaking of social media, it makes me cringe when I see somebody like something after it has 69 likes on it. If a post has 69 comments, has 69 likes, do not add to it at all. Because whenever I see the number 69, it makes me laugh. And it should make you laugh too. If you have a good sense of humor, if you're still immature, you would laugh about that too. If it's at 68, like it. Become that 69th person that likes that. Because I bet you something really good happens to you that night. You're going to have one thing on the mind, and you're going to make that one thing happen. 69. And then it happens. Every single time I see a post, especially on Twitter with like celebrities when they post, and they have 68 likes or 69 likes, I don't like it. Even if I really want to like the post, I don't. I don't want to be the one that ruins it all. Sometimes, you do have to look because there are a lot of people on social media, so you might like it thinking that you are the 69th person. So if you think you are the 69th person, just walk away feeling good. Now, if others ruin it, that's fine. But you can't be the one to ruin it. We just need to put that out there. Do not be the person that ruins a good joke. Even though it's not a joke, it's supposed to be a joke, and it's supposed to happen. Let it play out. Let it play out, please. I need to see more funny things on social media instead of people, complaining about all these different things in the world. I want comedy. I want to laugh. That's all I want to do in life is just laugh. That's why I like stand-up comedy. That's why I like following funny people on social media. So step up your game on social media. Post funny things. I can't really talk. I don't have room to talk because I am horrible about posting on social media. I got to get better at it. Maybe I will. I just always feel like I post dumb stuff on there. That's why I feel like I don't post enough, is because I feel like my content on there is not great. I feel like I'm not contributing to making people laugh. I want to make people laugh. That's why I think I'm so hard on myself when it comes to posting social media stuff. Sometimes simple is better on social media. Sometimes I think like, oh man, I'm just going to throw this up there. It's kind of stupid. Those are usually the posts that get the most likes. Sometimes I think of a great caption and it takes me a couple of minutes. And no one likes it. and then I crush, and then my feelings get hurt. I feel crushed, is what I should say. We shouldn't end on a low note like that. Just remember, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. I think that's a good way to end the podcast. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Have a great Derby on Saturday. If you're not from Louisville and it's not that big of a thing to you, I don't care, okay? Have a good Derby Saturday. I'll talk to you Monday on a new episode of The Luke Kelly Show. And I think since we talked about chips today, about that dude polishing off a full bag of Sun Chips in the stores, let's do a top 3 chips. Top 3 chips. That's what we'll do on Monday. I'll talk to you then.